Welcome to episode 1031. It's Monday, May 11th, and you're listening to the Geek News Central. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Start supporting the show today by becoming a GNC Insider at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. Hey, folks, got a great show lined up for you. A little bit of a late start. I was all thumbs this evening. You know what comes next. Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to Geek News Central. Of course, my name is Todd Cochrane, and I want to welcome all of the longtime listeners and viewers to the show. Thank you for being here. It's absolutely a pleasure to be putting a show on tonight for all of you. We've got nice trade winds wafting in the window here in the studio, so it should stay under 100 degrees in here tonight. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But if you're brand new to the show, I want to welcome you to Geek News Central. Of course, I want you to encourage you to get over to our main site at geeknewscentral.com and check out all the great content on the website. There's a lot there for you to go through. Lots of tech articles. We've got a way to subscribe on iTunes, on Android, or via just an RSS feed if you're like using a Windows phone, potentially. Lots of options there. Just one-click subscribe for both iTunes and Android. And if you don't have a one-click supported app, we're going to take you to a website and basically prompt you to grab one of the one-click supported apps. That way you can subscribe to any podcast with just a single click for the Android users. iOS folks, you guys have been doing that for a long, long time. Of course, there's the link to the newsletter as well on the website. We want you to get signed up for the newsletter so that you don't miss a single episode of this show, or get the announcement post-show of all the updates and basically everything I'm going to cover tonight during the podcast. We want you to get that in your email inbox, so definitely sign up for the newsletter. Other than that, it's been kind of crazy in a good way, and I'm going to share a couple things with you guys tonight. I need your help, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Of course, you can reach me on Twitter at Geek News, and this is part of the things. The reason the show was late tonight was I kind of jacked up the lower thirds for some reason. For those of you that are watching, I don't know what I did, but pushed one too many buttons and deleted a bunch of stuff, so I had to redo them. But you can reach me here, geeknews@gmail.com. Geeknews@gmail.com is the email address. We want to hear from you. Send an email to the show. Tell us what you love, what you hate, what you want us to do more of, all that kind of stuff. So when I say we, me, and oftentimes I say we, it's consider you guys here part of the audience. So that's an important part of being part of the Ohana here, that you're part of our team, part of our family. And if for those of you that don't know what Ohana means family here in Hawaiian. And so I'll welcome you to the family. Of course, you can watch the show just really anywhere there's glass. If you want to watch in your set-top box on the Roku, if you want to catch me in the iPad, you can listen on your phone. Really, there's a variety of ways to do that. Again, Tech Podcast channel on those set-top boxes. And, of course, this show tonight would not be possible in part because of our good sponsor over at GoDaddy.com. Now, let's talk about the GoDaddy deal. So, as you guys know, as of May 1st, we changed, right? Well, I need your help. I need your help to get the codes out. I think, looking at the numbers, we're a little behind. And I think what it is we run on the same codes for so long, we may have gotten some distribution So we want you guys to help me, and really all I want you to do is put in a Twitter, put in a Facebook post. Just point people back to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. If you want to share a code, that would be great. It's up to you. And of course, all the codes can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And really, there's 4 great deals right now: 30% off, a 99cent.com, a $1 month website builder, or a $1 month economy hosting for 12 months. And again, that those deals have some disclaimers. So when you get to the GoDaddy website, when you click on the link, please go through and do that. We're getting a huge number of click-throughs that we're seeing. I think we've had like 2,500 click-throughs in the last week, but the conversion numbers are not where they should be. So just a little bit concerned at this point, and just need your help get everything on a line and on track, and share codes with your friends, family members, people that you know. New hosting accounts, great discounts, 30% off on new hosting accounts. Again, servers, you name it. Of course, we've got the economy hosting for $1 a month, and the website builder for those of you that want to get a business up and running very, very quickly. But again, the 99cent.coms, of course, as well, are pretty much standard now and available for the first year. As a disclaimer, maybe I can be in there 17 cents or something like that, but I think that's what they want me to disclose. But definitely check all those codes out at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. We'll appreciate all of you that are supporting the show and help me spread the word on these new codes and get the word on the street that alive and well. Okay, what's next? Of course, Sunday was Mother's Day, and I hope all of you, if nothing else, called your mom. If better yet, that you sent flowers and a card or whatever it may be, took her to dinner. I talked to my wife about what we wanted to do for her Mother's Day, and the kids basically cooked breakfast for her, made her a gourmet, actually made the whole family a gourmet breakfast, which was fantastic. And then Sunday afternoon, just kind of a little bit of an easy afternoon, so nothing super special here. But the weekend was pretty busy. We're getting ready for my son's graduation already. She's got a honey-do list that is 5 miles long and getting ready for the party here. And of course, we've got graduation activities going on and end of school year activities going on. So Thursday of this week is going to be, I don't know what time I'm going to get back here to the studio. So it all depends on what time they wrap up and I'm able to get back. So it'll be a hit or miss if there's actually a show this coming Thursday. But just want to give you a heads up on that. But again, lots of stuff. Some college visits next week, one day. And basically it's parent and son orientation, which is kind of weird because my daughter was just a student orientation only. So, anyway, we got family coming just about 12 days. My mom, my sister, and my 2 nieces will be here. So we'll have family in the house. Still planning on putting out 2 shows that week if everything goes right. So a little bit of craziness in this month of May. So goes to say that we hope that you'll continue to support the show through your listener support. I definitely appreciate that. We'll probably go through some of the donations tonight on the website. So I definitely appreciate all of you that become an insider at geeknewscentral.com/insider with your $2, $5, $10, $15, or $25 contribution. It is now a critical time for everyone that wants to support the show to step up and do so. I can't stress that enough. Your support is greatly appreciated and needed, and I'll continue to put out great shows for you. So thank you for those of you that put that into your consideration. All right, we're going to have. I'm waiting for delivery of a product. We had a podcaster, and this is kind of an unusual situation. I had a podcaster that ran an ad for a vendor, and it was supposed to be a 2-month deal, and the podcaster was very, very happy with the product, but the podcaster essentially decided to change course with his show midstream and kind of essentially said, hey, I can't do the spot. And we went round and round quite a little bit. And so I reached out back to the media buyer, and I told them, I said, hey, I know that the advertising rate is going to be much, much lower than what I would normally take for this ad spot. But we want to make sure we fill the inventory. So I'm filling inventory this month for a product that we're about ready to, I think it's going to get here tomorrow. And it's going to be interesting to try this product out. And it's from a company called Casper. And we recently had purchased a product from a competing vendor. And I'm going to preface that. I'm definitely going to be doing some A/B testing. And we'll be able to tell which of the two are better, and I'll give you guys my honest opinion on that. And but we're excited to be able to talk about them here in the coming days at Casper.com. But I don't have a lot of details yet on this because again I haven't gotten the mattress, haven't been able to test it out. So really no host endorsement at this point, but I want to let you know we are going to be doing that. And if you check them out, you go over to the website at Casper.com/Geek News. That's where I want you to go to take a peek, see what's going on. But again, I'll have more details once we get the mattress here, get it unpacked, get it racked and stacked, and get a few nights sleep on it. And I will be doing the sleeping. And I will, I have a house full of kids that are always looking to assist as well. So we'll probably employ them and give you guys some good feedback on that. But that is forthcoming and not yet. Okay, let me look here at my little stack of stuff. I think that's it. Let's just go ahead and get into the tech. Got a lot to share with you tonight, lots to talk about. And if you guys noticed, I've been trying to, in the last couple of shows, I have a little bit of a theme and kind of stick to that. It's part of the ongoing, I guess for a better word, the development of Geek News Central. And as we are moving into really our 10 plus years of doing this show. And I want to really kind of talk about stuff that it, make me pause. And we've also, talked about product endorsements, stuff that we love, stuff that we hate. I believe I got an email from one of our audience members that talked about a product and service that they've used. We'll share with that at the end of the show. But I saw this Gallup poll, and it intrigued me a lot, and it's really stacked towards millennials. And then we have a number of millennials that listen to the show. I thank you for listening. Or watching, whichever you may do. But the Gallup poll says that 44% of U.S. millennials say their information is kept private. And this is in regards to who they do business with and where they have accounts. In spite of high visibility data breaches, 44% of millennials in the United States believe that their personal information is kept private all or most of the time. And have we really done that bad of a job raising our kids? That number is, to me, is a little bit shocking that they believe their personal information is kept private all or most of the time. Various hypotheses are being put forth on why millennials have this trust level. Just a quarter of millennials, 26%, believe that their personal information is kept private little or none of the time, while the remaining 30% believe it's kept private some of the time. On the other end of the age spectrum, the most skeptical generation is traditionalists, Americans aged 70 and older. 29% of traditionalists believe that their personal information is kept private all or most of the time, while just over a third, 35%, believe it's kept private a little or none of the time, making this the only generation to have a higher rate of distrust than trust. And I think the people that are 70 and over have been screwed over so many times, they just don't trust nobody anymore. And I don't go too far in trusting companies myself, and I'm in that 50-year-old range. But 36% of that group says it's kept private some of the time. The Gen X folks, which I am the last year of a Gen Xer, and excuse me, I wish, a baby boomer, I'm the last year of a baby boomer, fall in between these two groups, suggesting that expectation of personal privacy are age-related. So there's a school of thought about millennials and privacy, suggesting that because millennials have never known a world without smartphone, apps, the internet, and computers, and the inherent risk to privacy and those things pose, they should have a lower expectation about the security of their personal information than other generations do. This is because the thinking goes everything is available online these days, and even information that is not easily accessible is, as we know, increasingly vulnerable to hackers. But another perspective argues just the opposite. To its adherents, millennials should actually have higher expectations about the security of their personal information than other generations because they understand how tech works and are fully aware of the inherent risk, but believe technology will keep their personal information safe. So that's all I want to really talk about this Gallup poll, but I just want to, based upon companies that I talk to on a daily basis, I'm right now seeking some solutions for my company. And I'm really, I guess for a better word, disgusted with the level of activity that is revolving around knowing who you are. It's scary to me, the solutions that have been put forth to me on how deep we could track someone if we so chose to do. And it's not in my DNA to do that at all. It's not in my company's culture to do that all. I love stats. I love digging down deep into the numbers. But really all I ultimately care about is, things like how the media is being consumed, how much of the media is being consumed, how long is someone staying subscribed, what part of the country has big a part of listeners. I want to know those generalities. I don't want and don't need to know who you really are. I don't need to know what you're buying. I don't need to know what your expectation, that's your business. I know because you opt into this show. Okay, you are a P1 listener or viewer because you have decided that you want to listen to this podcast. And I appreciate that. And I don't take that lightly. Everyone's time is very, very valuable. And what you share with me, and when you tell me not to share something, which I get plenty of those emails that say, please don't read this on the air, or don't announce my name, or don't say where I work, or don't say where I live, because people are concerned. And, I think the technology folks are, there's a certain level of distrust we have with that data being shared and people putting 1 + 1 and, equaling 2, and they're starting to dig a little bit too deeper than they should. But at this point, I have a very, 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 very high expectation that my privacy is going to be maintained. But I also, at the same time, have this realistic knowledge that the way people are being tracked these days, you go to any commercial website, you do a search on Amazon, you go to Best Buy, you go wherever you may go to shop online, that data of your visit and what you looked at has been tagged. They know you're looking at batteries for your cameras. They know that you're looking for just give me an example, remote controls. They know you're looking for business cards, or they know you're looking for a mouse or whatever, and you start getting ads from them on the sidebar when you're on visiting at other sites. They're tracking you from, coast to coast, and it's a little bit unnerving. But some of the companies I've been talking about, and they are so proud that they can get your information to the point where they know. I thought Google knew you better than your spouse does. No. These freaking advertising companies and advertising trackers, they know you like you have no idea. Now, what is the implication of that? We live with it, or do we start complaining? Do we add software to our browsers that helps us stop from being tracked? I don't know. But the millennials are definitely are not trusting. They are trusting when it regards to the digital data. Excuse me. At least 44% of them are. And maybe they just haven't experienced life enough. I don't know. We've all been exposed to data breaches. I just got a new credit card because who knows where they swiped the doggone thing. And it was used in Florida and ran up a whole bunch of bills on my business card. That was when I was in Vegas was when that happened. But the card got swiped before I got in Vegas because the charges started happening before I even arrived. Who knows where they're getting this information? But who do you trust? And be honest with you, if we're doing businesses with company ABC, I expect ABC to do as good a job as possible in locking down their information so that my personal information, my business practices with that company does not get breached. Depending on what you're buying online, that could be some embarrassing information. Not to say that I go out and buy embarrassing things, but it's nobody's business except for me and the merchant who I bought something from, what I bought, and how much I paid for it, and how fast I got it shipped here, and all that other stuff, right? So what do you guys think? I'd love to hear your feedback. geeknews@gmail.com. Are you trusting? Why do you think the millennials are just like, they must keep my stuff? I know my daughter, she's going to be 19 here soon. She drives me crazy. Because, I talked to her about this stuff, and it's kind of like, flippant about it. Whereas my son, who's just a year younger, who's going to be 18 in October, he's fully gets it. So, I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. It really, really is. All right, let me switch gears here and talk about Facebook a little bit. I'm sure all of you have stopped and watched a video on a news feed before. I don't think you're going to stop your news feed and watch me for an hour and 10 minutes. But these little short 2-minute clips are just raging right now. But Facebook's new video business is running into the same problems that YouTube did in the very early days, is because it's awash with copyright infringement, and celebrities are some of the biggest offenders, being that celebrities are taking videos and posting them on their Facebook profiles as if they own them. Sharing is one thing, but actually taking the video and uploading it via their own profile is a whole different dealio. Now, there's a vlogger, and I don't even know who this gal is, to be honest with you. A widely successful British vlogger, Zoe Suggs, aka Zoella, I guess, is making an incredible amount of money on YouTube, and she's complaining. I'm spending a huge amount of time doing takedowns on Facebook because the way the media is being basically shared, she's not making any money for those views. So it is kind of interesting here. We've seen a little bit of a twist, because when YouTube started, what was happening? The YouTube videos, there was music and concerts and all kinds of television content. That was the infringing stuff, right? that was where Warner Brothers and Sony and everyone basically, put their finger on YouTube for being a bad boy and made them come up with the Content ID system, which YouTube did. But at the time, the people that were pushing the boundaries, that were kind of like flipping their nose at people, were all these YouTube celebrities and people that were bringing stuff up. And now they are becoming the victims. And I think it's kind of an interesting dynamic here that's shifted. But you've got these folks that do these, dedicated, they try to build viral YouTube videos. And I think about some of these viral YouTube videos, and I've seen at least one of these. I'm sure many of you have seen the snowman, the scary snowman prank. It seems so simple, yet it's a video that we all laugh about. You got a snowman that's standing on the side of the road. People walk by and look at it, and they this snowman jumps at them or growls or whatever it does, and that guy's a person that makes these viral videos on purpose. This is not someone that just thought this up. This was a staged event that is being used to have a viral video. And so he's basically complaining about stuff being same deal. He can't keep up with the copyright violations, and he feels he's losing money. So Facebook could solve this, but they haven't. It would be relatively easy for Facebook to solve this problem with a Content ID software used on YouTube to automatically monitor for infringing content. This would be scanning all new uploads against a database of registered intellectual property. When there's a match, then the copyright holder can come in and can essentially either attach advertising to it or do a takedown. So Facebook is probably facing some lawsuits here in the near future if they don't get this figured out. Facebook is, as they claim at times, is eating the internet little by little. The social network is expanding onto its competitors' turf, so users have less and less reason to leave. I ask you, try to do a day or 2 or 3 or 4 without going on Facebook. Try. Just try. I have a service that I'm using now, for a business tool, to track keywords and stuff across the space. And, I'm seeing stuff being posted in Facebook on public profiles of content creators that I follow that allows me to go in and see what people are saying about us, or if someone's doing tech support. It's very, very powerful stuff. And I find myself in Google Plus and Facebook and Twitter a lot. Do I find myself on the interwebs? Once in a while, someone will write an article about us and so forth. That's the kind of stuff we really value because it gives us, a lot more, I guess for a better word, Googleability. Because there's not a lot of Googleability to tweets, stuff on Google Plus and on Facebook. It just doesn't rise to the top as websites do. So, anyway, interesting dilemma for Facebook as they move forward here. All right, the FCC, they're basically saying, hey, thanks for the concern, telcos, but we're not delaying the open internet rules. So the FCC is saying it's going to implement its net neutrality provisions despite objections from telcos. So they issued a ruling on Friday denying a motion from a trade groups U.S. Telecom and CTI, among others, to say that the FCC's open internet proceedings pending legal, basically they didn't get it stopped. So the decision allows the FCC to proceed with its plans to implement its open internet rules, including the controversial implementation of Title II, to make internet service a common carrier platform subject to tighter regulations. And I'm sure about this time is when the lawsuits are going to drop. So it's going to be fun to watch this over the next 4 or 5 years to see how it pans out. All right, this next story is something that you should be very, very cognizant about. How many of you travel when you go on trips with cash? I know some of you do. How much money do you take when you travel? Do you take $1,000? Take $500? Do you have $5,000 cash? Go to Vegas. How much money do you carry with you? It's in cash, hard, cold $100 bills. How many of you do that? I'm sure more of you do that than are willing to admit. Well, the DEA decided to take $16,000 from a train passenger because it could. Now, listen to this. There were no drugs, nothing to enforce, but that didn't stop the Drug Enforcement Agency from taking $16,000 from a passenger on a train headed to California. So here's the backstory. After scraping together enough money to produce a music video in Hollywood, 22-year-old Joseph Rivers set out last month on a train trip from Michigan to Los Angeles, hoping it was the start of something big. Rivers changed the trains at the Amtrak station in Albuquerque, New Mexico on April 15th with bags containing his clothes, other possessions, and an envelope filled with the $16,000 in cash he had raised with the help of his family. So the Albuquerque Journal reports agents with DEA got on after him and began looking for people who might be trafficking drugs. Rivers said the agents questioned passengers at random, asking for their destination and reason for travel. When one of the agents got to Rivers, who was also African American, the agents took and asked him where he was going, what he was doing. The agent took the interrogation further, asking to search his bags. Rivers complied. The agent found the cash, still in a bank envelope, and decided to seize it on suspicion that it may be tied to narcotics. Rivers pleaded with the agents, explaining his situation, even putting his mother on the phone to verify the story. No luck. They took the money. Just took it. The DEA helped itself to cash simply because it was cash. They had no reason to suspect this gentleman of anything, but the money was apparently too much to pass up. Even his having his story corroborated was useless, and sure, the DEA agents had no reason to believe anyone Rivers put them in touch with. After all, he was not a drug dealer, right? He was innocent. Nothing was about him was under any investigation. The DEA said, "We don't believe you," and took his money. Took his money. Because what did the DEA actually have here? A young guy with $16,000 in cash. According to the DEA's own statements, it doesn't need anything more than that to effect an asset seizure. And according to the DEA's own statements, it has no reason to bother with anything more than a cursory look that confirms what it wants to confirm. Sean Waite, DEA Albuquerque, said that in general, DEA agents look for indicators such as whether the person bought an expensive one-way ticket with cash, if the person is traveling to a city known as a hotspot for drug activity, if the person's story has inconsistencies, or if large sums of money found could have been transported by more conventional means. Wow. They say, we don't have to prove this person's guilty. It's that the money is presumed to be guilty. This is insane. Is he going to get his money back? Nope. Any cash is inherently suspicious can be deemed guilty by the seizing agency with no corroborating evidence. $16,000 just made its way into the DEA funds, and if this gentleman wants it back, he's likely going to lose a great deal of it to legal fees. He's currently trying to raise the money the DEA took from him via a crowdfunding site on GoFundMe. Hopefully he'll get another chance to make his music video without being sidelined by government agencies looking to bust some guilty cash. Now, should he have been carrying $16,000 cash? Probably not. But maybe he didn't have a bank account. It happens a lot with young people. Depends on the social economic situation of someone. You walk into a a bank with $16,000 of cash, you might lose it anyway because they're going to ask you, where'd you get this money? And you're going to have to go through all kinds of explanations. And if you don't come up with the right answer, it's going to get seized anyway. Cash today is, in this situation, the equivalent of being consumed guilty. But crazy stuff. So be careful how much cash you're carrying out there, folks. All right, self-driving cars involve minor accidents, but don't blame the tech. Since California began issuing permits for self-driving cars on public roads last fall, 4 out of nearly 50 vehicles had minor accidents. According to an AP report, 3 of the 4 were Google's Lexus SUVs outfitted with Delphi autonomous technology. The 4th was a test vehicle owned by Delphi, and half the fender benders, the cars were in control. The cars were in control when the accident occurred, and all of them happened at speeds under 10 miles per hour. Most importantly, all 4 cases resulted in minor damage and no injuries. Due to the state's privacy laws, the report doesn't indicate further details. In a blog post today, Google's self-driving project head Chris Urmson explained that in 6 years, the project had seen 11 accidents, but autonomous cars weren't at fault in any of those situations. He says if you spend enough time on the road, accident will happen whether you're in a car or a self-driving car. The self-driving tech has piloted nearly 1 million miles so far, as you may recall. Florida, Michigan, and Nevada also licensed companies to test self-driving vehicles on public highways. So most of them had been other drivers turning into the vehicle in intersections. And folks want a little more detail, but there's 2 good articles. One at jlopitnick.com, and of course the other one at Engadget. I'll have a link up to both of those in the show notes. All right, any of you guys are mompreneurs? In other words, are you entrepreneurs, but you're mompreneurs? There's a good article on Gizmo talking about some tech that you may want to check out, and I have a link up for you on that. Talks about some stuff that you may want to be utilizing to be a mompreneur, an entrepreneur, and stay green and healthy. So I'll have that up for you in the show notes. Hey, there's a good article. NASA released it. Boy, oh boy, Mars. The Curiosity rover took a picture of sunset in Mars. And when I saw that was dumb. Let me try this again. When I saw this image, it really reminded me. Let me flip this here. What it really reminded me was the Middle East. It really did look like the Middle East. Sand in the air, and this very well could have been taken on Earth. But you see the sun, and it's kind of a bluish tint, bluish gray. It is kind of an interesting picture, but definitely reminds me of sandy, sand-blown days in the Middle East. It really does. Or maybe in this day and age, maybe it could be the same as California. I got music starting somewhere. Where's that coming from? Oh, space.com is automatically starting videos. It just drives me crazy when they do that. Well, Apple is basically putting a warning out, telling companies, do not mess with the diagnostic port. Leave that port alone. Some companies are basically willing to take the risk and potentially go and make some bands that have some functionality that tie into this diagnostic port. They've apparently figured something out about it, so we'll see what happens. It turns out it's pretty hard to get access to that port. It's not an easy thing to uncover, so Apple really didn't make it easy to get in there. But anyway, companies are looking to tap it anyway, but Google's not super happy about it. All right, one thing I do want to share with you guys is that if you have SSD drives, don't leave them in hot places. In other words, if you've got an SSD drive in your laptop bag, don't leave it in the sun in the car. So if you've got an unused computer with a solid-state storage inside, you might want to back up its data before too long. A new research presentation shows that solid-state drives can lose data over time if they aren't powered on, especially in warmer environments. A powered-off drive in 104 degrees Fahrenheit may start seeing data loss after a couple of weeks. So if you got your laptop in your car every day and it's turned off and it's getting cooked, there could be some danger here. And it basically gets worse the hotter it gets. So if you store your SSD in 131 degree heat, that might be the back of a trunk or something, you might start losing data after a couple of days. So just be aware, okay? Keep your laptops in a cool, and desktops and everything. This is kind of like, wow, this is a big eye opener for me, that this may be the case. So again, and I leave my computers running here, and I don't have AC in the house. I get home in the afternoon, but they're powered on, so maybe that makes a difference. I don't know, but it's 80, 90 degrees in the house when we get home before we open it up. So, yeah, kind of scary stuff here. Leaving unpowered SSD in a warm room can kill your data fast. So just be aware, be aware, be aware. All right, Verizon is basically telling price-sensitive customers, go away. We don't need you. We're not competing. We've got a great network. So what's going on is that T-Mobile is racking it up. So Verizon's lost 138,000 postpaid customers in the last 3 months, yet T-Mobile had some incredible gains over the past 90 days too. So people are moving, and the Verizon folks don't care. They're just basically saying, hey, we're not chasing these, what they're calling low-end clients. Well, you know what? Low-end or not, your service is expensive, Verizon. It really, really is. And it's not as great as you want to just claim it to be either. All right, Messenger unlocks mystery of Mercury's ancient magnetic fields. The mystery of Mercury, the planet closest to the Sun, are continuing to be unraveled even after the probe smashed into the planet last month. Before it ran out of fuel and made its fatal plunge into Mercury, Messenger flew close to the surface and used its magnetometer to collect information about the level of magnetism in the Mercury surface rocks. The data yielded surprising new findings that Mercury's magnetic field is at least 3.7 to 3.9 billion years old, making it much more ancient than was expected, according to a paper from the Planetary Science Institute. So I'll have a link up in the show notes for you guys to go read the deep and dirty on that, all right? Are you using Airbnb? Are you actually renting your house or apartment or condo out via Airbnb? Make sure you're careful here that you can do that. There's an Airbnb host in Amsterdam that's racked up about 20, maybe 30,000 euros in legal fees and costs for basically letting people rent essentially what is considered a kind of rent-controlled type of unit designed for people that are on low income. And he's going to pay big on this. How they find him? Positive Airbnb stay reviews. So in Amsterdam, they're going hot and heavy. So I know they're doing it in New York too. So keep it on the lowdown. All right, New York Times Now news app goes free, ending a subscription experiment. Say goodbye to $8 a month of the curated news app on NYT Now, and say hello to the free ad-supported news app of the same name. So that only lasted a year, but apparently only 200,000 people were using the paid app. That's I'll take 200,000 people at $8 a month. It's just like the insider thing here. Gosh, it amazes me how hard it is. And okay, I shouldn't complain. I won't. I'll stop. But very, very cool. Anyway, link will be up in the show notes for you to check it out. Okay. Weird spot on the dwarf planet series starting to come into focus. 8 pictures from 8,400 miles away. I don't think it's that much clear, but they say they are going to make some lower passes soon, as much as 24 or 2,500 miles above the surface. So we should get some better pictures in the near future, but they think it's some sort of ice or something. That's kind of what they're thinking about now. I think it's someone, I think it's at Claude Boudel at Motel 6, and he's leaving the lights on. I think that's what it is. I think it's you're gonna get close, and there's gonna be a sign down there saying Motel 6 will leave the lights on for you. I don't know why that just came to my head, but the last Motel 6 I stayed at was pretty bad. Pretty bad. All right, Xbox One May system update now adds voice messaging and more. So now you can send and receive voice messages through the console messaging app. What's more, voice messages can be sent between Xbox One and Xbox 360, which is good news. The update also adds a new power on-off option for this free smart glass app. Will let you power your console on and off, provided your console and mobile device are on the same network. So link will be up in the show on that for those of you that are Xbox One and Xbox 360 users. A ruling out of a Ninth District Court basically saying to Homeland Security, no, you just can't take anyone's laptop at the border, transport it 150 miles away, make a duplicate copy of the hard drive, and then bring it back and give it back to the owner or ship it to the owner. Well, apparently there was some Chinese guy they thought was suspicious, and they took his laptop, sent him on his way on his flight. They didn't detain him, and they went through his laptop and apparently came up with some incriminating evidence on his import business. And so basically this guy's fought it. I don't know how that story works, but I think he's a Chinese citizen. But Judge Amy Jackson attacked the government's ridiculous assertion within the first few paragraphs of the ruling. She says the government points to its plenary authority to conduct warrantless searches at the border. It posits that a laptop computer is simply a container that was examined pursuant to this authority, and it submits that the government's unfettered right to search cargo at the border to protect the homeland is the beginning and end of the matter. And she says, no, it's not. Not when you take the laptop and you go off with it and you spend an extended time looking at this. So everything they found on that guy's laptop, guess what? All suppressed. Cannot be used in a court of law against him. Massive 6 terabyte SSD is hitting the market in July. Let's see here. What is our price on this thing? Let me look. I don't see a price yet. Oh. They think the drive is going to be cost between $1,800 and $2,400. Oh, I think I'll wait a few years. Holy cow. Hey, Senator Warner is seeking the Department of Transportation research to combat rogue drones. The U.S. DOT should begin, according to the senator, research technologies to combat rogue drone flights around sensitive areas like the White House and airports. The U.S. government, working with private companies, need to develop counter-drone technology to defend sensitive airspace. Warner, a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, raised concerns about drones being used in crimes or potential attacks. A camera-equipped drone carrying a bottle marked with radioactive setting was discovered on the roof of a Japanese Prime Minister's office in central Tokyo in April in a press release, and he basically quoted that. These things can come do what they want to do. So I guess, what are they going to do? Set up machine guns at the edge of airspace, and if it's flying, it gets shot down or something? That is the question, really, isn't it? Okay, the Illinois State Police will fly unmanned aircraft to basically do all kinds of stuff that unmanned aircraft do. And but the Illinois State Police recently received approval from the FAA to add unmanned aircraft to its tools for the next 2 years. In a statement released by Sun-Times MediaWire, the police department said it was intentionally avoiding the word drone because it carries the perception of programmed automatic flight patterns and random indiscriminate collection of images and information. The state police said they worked with legal professionals and civil rights groups like the ACLU to minimize the privacy impact on citizens. But they're going to be able to do surveillance and disturbances with this thing. They're going to also, if a police has a warrant, they're going to be using it, or have a reasonable suspicion that harm to a human life is imminent, or if they're attempting to locate a missing person. Police may also use the drones for crime scene and traffic crash scene photography, and also to counter a high risk of a terrorist act. So they get to use these unmanned drones to look down on you. There's a great article, absolutely great article over at hackaday.com. And it's been many, many years since the Apollo missions completed. But the Hackaday folks were able to hang out with someone who walked on the moon. Apollo 15 specifically. They talked about the rover and about how almost they flipped one over, and the landing pattern, and the abort of the Saturn V, and all the simulators. This is really, really, really good. So just when you go to this article, have 20 minutes because you're going to want to read the whole thing. You really, really are. And also, people are still talking about this NASA engine, and people are excited about it. They want this EM drive to be real, and so we'll see where this goes. But people are still talking about this thing, and I'm sure it's going to be investigated and looked at deeper to actually prove or disprove anything. Hey, imagine you've been overcharged, and you call the company and say, hey, over the past couple of years, I've noticed some stuff on my bill that I didn't notice before. I don't think you're supposed to be charging me this because I turned in my DVR. Oh, yes, sir, we show you turned in your DVR. Well, I want my money back. Well, Comcast told a customer it will refund $600 in bogus charges, but only if they keep quiet about it and sign an NDA. This couple decided not to, and went public, and it got brought up on ours and Yahoo and a variety of different places. And basically, Comcast has told Ars Technica that it was a mistake for the company to ask the family to sign an NDA for this particular case. The company said it will remind its employees that they shouldn't try to force customers to sign NDAs for matters such as routine as refunds. Why do you have to sign an NDA with a customer service rep to begin with, right? All right, this next article is going to really upset you all, and if it proves to be true, it's going to make you go, let me get a shot of H2O here. Okay, so let's say you're living in Kern County, which is Central California, better known as the fruit basket of America, the San Joaquin Valley. And imagine you're going to start working for an employer, and they said, hey, you've got to load this app, and you have to have it on your phone. And so this gal, Mayna Arias, a former Bakersfield sales executive for money transfer service Intermex, claims in a state court lawsuit that her boss, John Stubbits, fired her shortly after she uninstalled the job management Exora app that she and her colleague were required to use according to her suit. After researching the app and speaking with a trainer from Exora, the plaintiff and her co-workers asked whether Intermex would be monitoring their movements while off duty. The boss admitted that employees would be monitored while off duty and bragged that he knew how fast she was driving at specific moments ever since she installed the app on her phone. The plaintiff expressed that she had no problem with the app's GPS function during work hours, but she objected to the monitoring of her location during non-work hours and complained to Stubbits that this was an invasion of her privacy. She likened the app to a prisoner's ankle bracelet and informed him that his actions were illegal. So Stubbits replied that she should tolerate the illegal intrusion. Well, she got fired when she uninstalled the app. And she was making around $7,200 a month. She met all her quotas, and but they didn't like it that she removed the tracking device. Now, the app had a clock in, clock out feature, which did not stop GPS monitoring. That function remained on. This is the problem with which Miss Arias complained, and management never made mention of mileage. They would tell her coworkers and her of her driving speed, roads taken, and time spent at customer locations. Her manager made it clear that this was using the program to continue to monitor her during company as well as personal time. Can you just imagine? I'm glad she got a lawyer. Exora, if any of you if employers are making you use this Exora app, unbelievable. Netflix reveals the best and worst Australian ISPs. If you've got TPG, you've got the best. If you've got Telestra, you've got the worst. So a link will be up in the show notes on that for you. Also, got a great tip for you if you want to slow down your beer drinking, ladies and gentlemen. Get the right glass. That's all I will say. I'll have the link up in the show notes for you to review on how you can slow your roll when it comes to having a cold one. All right. All right. In VentureBeat news, iOS has slipped to 72% enterprise share in Q1 2015. Android hits 26%, and Windows Phone stays flat at 1%. So more Androids are making itself into the enterprise workspace. Those of you that were following the election in the UK and want to know how things are going to be affected, well, the Register is saying that the unsustainable BBC teletax stays for now. Don't think that you're going to get a relief from that anytime soon. Seems the Tory heavyweight is going to keep it on. So we'll see where that goes. We'll keep you advised. All right, Google's temporarily shut down its map maker program while it figures out how to stop people from inserting into its maps, like the image of the Android robot taking a shishi, I'll say that nice, on an Apple logo that prompted an apology last month. They've shut down. I didn't even know they had a thing where you could edit maps, but apparently they can. Anyway, that has been shut down. Also, we talked about Carly Fiorina, the ex-Yahoo HP exec. I think I got that right. About how someone had gotten her domain. Well, she's went on a couple interview shows and been asked about it, and she if you go to tedcruz.com, of course, you get redirected to a website praising Obama. Go to carlyfiorina.org and you'll see 30,000 sad face emotion representing all the people she laid off as the CEO of Hewlett Packard. If you go to hillaryclinton.net, you'll get redirected to Fiorina's actual campaign website, as well as a couple of other reporters' names that she has bought their domains and redirected to her site as well. I guess domain trolling is a new campaign tactic. Over at the White House, they're getting some upgraded spears straight out of the Game of Thrones. You guys watching Game of Thrones? I am. I'm totally enthralled with the series. Very, very exciting stuff. It's hard to believe we're already this many episodes in already. I wish it would move just a little faster. I wrote about a couple of laptop bags recently on Geek News Central. I definitely want you to check that out. But I'm also going to point you tonight at a shoulder bag that's called Rough Rider Messenger Bag. It's a pretty cool bag. Pretty expensive, but nice write-up over on Engadget. I'll have that link in the show notes for you. All right, Microsoft is springing for new undersea cable to link US, UK, and Asia. So they've invested in new 2 cables to connect its North American data centers with facilities in Ireland. And it says it will soon help build similar data networks to Asia. They're involved in the big one that's going to go from the United States to China to Japan to Taiwan to a few other places, but it's some new bandwidth being laid down, not coming through Hawaii at all. All right, the president's new tech advisor proved how easy it is to hack voting machines. He's got a video about it, a 10-minute video. So it's nice to see we've got a technology advisor working for the White House that actually has a little bit of tech knowledge. Link will be up in the show notes. Also, if you're an AT&T customer, AT&T prepaid plans will offer data rollover. So this is new. So if you got a prepaid Go phone on a $45 and $60 plan, they'll be able to apply their unused data services 1.5 and 4 gigs respectively, roll it over to the next month. Again, this is on prepaid plans at the $45 and $60 level, okay? Windows 10 released to market. It's free for all Windows insiders. So, Jack, I know you've been testing this, so you get RTM. for basically a good job of doing the reviewing and setting in bug hacks and all that stuff. All right, find a couple articles for you tonight. The Oz government is going to put dark fiber net on the auction block. So the Australian government's dark fiber network icon is one of the many assets slated for sale under tonight's federal budget announcement. So the Intergovernment Communications Network has a total of 150,000 kilometers of dark fiber linking 400 sites in Canberra and is used by 88 agencies. And so they, I guess, are going to be auction it off, which is pretty cool. All right, find a couple too here. 91% of Spotify income comes from 25% of its user base. Also, for those of you thinking about doing a podcast on SoundCloud, don't do it. Do it with my company, Raw Voice /Blueberry, and our PowerPress plugin, because SoundCloud will take off your anything is copyrighted material, and if it gets flagged, it gets pulled. So you really can't run any clips or anything. They've got no respect for fair use. And with WWDC looming, Apple's kicked out a third iOS 8.4 beta. So, of course, the WWDC takes place June 8th, 12th in San Francisco at Moscone Center. So we'll look forward to seeing what happens then. But Windows version 8.4 beta is on the street. All right, let me load email real quick here because I had a couple of good emails come in, and I do want to recognize our contributors as well tonight. Let me look at the time. Oh, we're doing okay. I just got started late today, so that's why I feel like I'm running so far behind looking at the regular clock here. Oh boy, I got an audio comment from Tom. Let's see if I can plug this in. I didn't hear it. Hang on. Oh, that was bad. Sorry. Oh, that sucks. Maybe this won't play. Maybe we'll have to play it another show, Tom. That's horrible. Yeah, we'll give that up. I'll do it next show. I'll get it wired up. I'm sorry for crackling your ears. For those of you that are listening on audio, I cut that out. Those of you on YouTube on the live stream, so sorry. Okay, so I got an email from Melvin. He says, Todd, I have a love-hate relationship with Flickr photo sharing website. Last weekend, they implemented another one of those ongoing changes that upset many older users like myself. The layout got changed, new features are added, and so forth. The biggest change implemented by Flickr is the use of auto-tagging, where the service now thinks they can tag all of our pictures with the tag items that they deem relevant. First of all, many of the auto-tag items are done wrong. My whole series of sunrise photos are auto-tagged as sunset, even though when I first posted them, I tagged them as sunrise. There are other example of tags gone wrong. The auto-tagging has been implemented system-wide, not only on new photos, but also to users' photo libraries. Lovely. While Flickr does have an option to delete auto tags, you must do them one photo at a time. Oh my goodness. If you got 18,000 plus photos like I have, it's a huge onerous task. What Flickr needs an option to have people globally delete all of the auto tags in one batch process and an option in the settings to opt out permanently. Thanks for hearing me vent, Mel. I know when that stuff happens, it just pisses you off. In a big, big way. I know that stuff like that, me too. It really does. Feel your pain, Melvin. I really, really do. But thanks for the email. All right, I got an email from Andy. He says, hey, Todd, I was listening to your podcast and I heard you read one of my emails. Thanks a lot for doing that. It really made me feel part of the Ohana. Andy, you're always part of the Ohana. However, I really need to write my emails more clearly and do it from my computer, not my cell phone. In the age of texting, cell phone writing is really gone to beep. Anyway, now don't take offense to this, folks. Andy's living, I believe, in Shanghai. He's taking care of expats there. He's a surgeon, highly educated, a TV rock star too. And so Andy's got some comments. Anyway, you would really not believe it over here in China. These people have no souls. And the all-powerful dollar rules everything. I know it may seem wrong to say this, but they just operate on a different ethical system here. I heard your podcast talking about how they are altering human fetuses, and there may be ethical concerns, or they may release a deadly mutant into the environment. Truth is, they don't care. They don't care about diseases, or antibiotic resistance, or animal welfare, or doing the right thing. They're just operating on a very basic moral system. If you look at Maslow's law of hierarchy, you can see that they are on a very basic level, and they have a long way to go. Anything you want that is anything you want that is the least bit expensive, someone will have a way to get it cheaper or for free. Seems we were all watching the Pacquiao fight, and it was just free. No one seemed to care. Anyway, we'd love to catch up when you have some time. Anytime, let me know. Just ping me and we can chat. But I can tell maybe it's time for you to get out of China. Maybe it's time to come home and stay home. I know it rotates in and out. So, Tom, I apologize about not having the audio hooked up for your comment on the self-driving vehicle. We'll get that fixed from the next show. We'll cover it. All right. Also got an email from Henry. He says, "Aloha, Todd. As usual, a great podcast. Easiest way to clean a cast iron pan is to put 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil and 1 tablespoon of kosher salt in a warm cast iron pan. Scrub with a paper towel. Wipe out the pan. The light coating of oil keeps the pan from rusting." Henry in Livonia. Thanks, Henry, for that. I appreciate it. Okay. And I think that one was on the what was the last show date? Yep, that was the last one. Do want to get into real quick again the folks that have become insiders on the show and helping out with contributions. And I want to thank Andrew. I want to thank Michael. And if I missed somebody, I apologize. I want to thank Dino. I want to thank Mika. I want to thank Micheleni. Oh, did I just pronounce that wrong? Micheleni? I'm so sorry. David. I want to thank Curtis. I want to thank Michael. I want to thank Todd. I want to thank Deborah. I want to thank Andy. I want to thank Ken. I want to thank Gary. Thank Mike. I want to thank Ionis. I want to thank Richard. I want to thank Kirk. I want to thank Denise. I want to thank Bo, Nigel. Who else? Barry. Barry twice. Dale. I think that's the most recent list. So thank you all for supporting the show with your contributions. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And if you want to become an insider, please consider doing so. It's real easy. All you got to do is go over to geeknewscentral.com/insider. We hope that you'll consider coming on board as an insider. $2, $5, $10, $15, $20, $25 a month. That $5 spot's kind of the sweet spot. $2 only is 6.7 cents a day. So if we could get everyone, if I could get everyone on the show that listens to the show to do a 2 or 5, we could conquer the world, my friends. We could conquer the world at a $2 or $5 a month contribution. It could completely change everything. I'm serious. So really consider becoming an insider. geeknewscentral.com/insider. And I know we had some one-time contributions as well by folks. Thank you for those. I definitely appreciate them. All right, that's going to bring me to the end of the show. Geeknews@gmail.com. Geeknews@gmail.com. No more voicemail hotline. Reach me on Twitter at Geek News. Of course, you can reach me on Facebook, Google+. And thanks, everyone, for being here. Hope you had a great time with me tonight. I had a great time with you. And wherever you may be, wherever you may be listening, thanks for being part of the Ohana here at Geek News Central. Everyone, take care. We'll see you maybe on Thursday. But it's just one of those few life events, folks. I have to make sure I don't miss or my wife will kill me. All right, everyone, take care. We'll see you next time. Aloha. those of you on YouTube, thank you for being here tonight on YouTube. See you later, YouTube.